All right, we're going to fret this guitar neck. We're going to do it in real time. I'll show you how I do it. I have already cut my fret slots. I've pre-drilled for the screws that I'm going to be putting in the neck as dot markers. And today's video is just going to be me hammering in frets, cutting them, and filing them. And I'll show you what I do. Are you ready? All right, hammer. You can just use a normal, moderately lightweight hammer. I wouldn't suggest using anything as light maybe as this. The rubber tipped hammers are really good. I happen to have, I forked out and went to Crimson Guitars in the UK, and I bought this hammer, which is a dead blow hammer, and it works beautifully. The other thing that I also have is a pair of flush cut pliers, which are not imperative. You can use just normal pliers, but it just makes the filing process a lot easier. Here we go. I've just hammered in the first one. We cut in on an angle. Just make sure it is seated nicely, and it is. Put it in the next one. I'm looking down here just to make sure that I don't have any funny bumps or lumps, any spaces, okay, in that fretboard. You can see I've got some overhang here. Now I cut these as I go, so that way when I get down here to the busy section where it's a bit more cramped, it's not difficult to get those pliers in. So here we go. Now, flush cut. I'll take the ends off here first. And I pull down as I go. I bring it down. I try not to lift it up because I don't want to pull the fret out of the fret slot. So here, pressing down, I've just got a bit of down angle. You saw my hand come down like that. Be careful as well, safety-wise, not to scratch yourself or cut yourself on the fret wire because it does hurt. The metal does react with your blood sometimes. Now you notice then, when I did that, bring it back over here, when I started tapping the fret in, I tapped it on that side first, then I tapped it on this side first, the second, and then I tapped in and I lowered the fret. You can see this fret wire is curved, right? So we're using that curve. Now this is a flat fretboard, so if I just hammer it in the middle, it's going to come up like a banana. So tap here, tap there, and even if you've got straight frets, do the same thing. Tap there, and then come across. Now I can even feel there's a little lump just there. So as I go, I just like to tap as I go. Nice. Bring it down. Make sure, and I'm just trying to bring it down, making sure that I'm not lifting it at all. And take your time. This is a process. Don't rush. Tap on that side. Tap on this side. And work across. Now, a lot of us cigar box guitar builders, or we cigar box guitar builders, tend to use timbers which are not traditionally used for frets, for fretboards. Some timber can be a little softer, some timber can be a little harder. You need to judge it. And the thing that you might need to do is vary your attack on the hammer, okay? So you may need, if you're hitting it too hard, you don't want the fret to sink into the timber. All right, so your fret wire is very hard. And the timber that you're using, I'm currently using Meranti. Which is a very similar consistency to mahogany. Now, you don't often see mahogany fretboards. But being that we tend to use whatever materials we can get our hands on, you might find that you have to rely on Meranti today. You might want to judge how much you want to sell your guitars for, your profit margin, if you're selling. Not everyone sells. Many cigar box guitar builders just build for themselves or for family and friends. That's fine too. But you might want to judge how much you're laying out for materials and timber against your final dollar figure. Just a thought. So here I go. You can see I've got this curve here. Now I'm going to come through. You see I'm actually moving back and forwards, going forwards. I'm moving back across the fret just to make sure. So I go the two edges first. Edge there, edge there. The dead blow hammers are fantastic because they don't bounce. Makes hammering this material much easier. Also, using a dedicated fret saw is a fabulous idea. There are different types you can get. I've got this one, which is blunt as hell at the moment. I want to get this resharpened again. And it's a bit rusty, to be honest with you. Made in Sheffield, England. And I've treated it like crap. Mind you, I've had it for 6 years. I'm currently using this Japanese pull saw. And it's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous for what I use it for. You can find those all over the internets. Pull saw's the way you want to go. Now I've just gotten to the end of that lot of fret wire that I had. And I've got this little piece here. That's not wide enough to go across the board. But don't throw them out because they make excellent, excellent little pieces to use on skinny necks. And also, most importantly, I love to use these on the back of the guitar if I'm using acoustic string pins. And I put these in front so that the strings don't dig into the timber of the neck. So I'll save those. Just feeling it as I go. It's amazing. Your sense of touch across those frets. You can feel high bits. Yep, no high bits at the moment that I can see. I'm going to cut off a bit more. Now, you can actually do it. I get these long loops of fret wire. You can do it nice and long, but I just find it's a bit irritating to do it that way. I'll cut off a little bit more. Now, I might do the last one, or the last couple on the loop, so that I don't like wasting fret wire. This should get me through almost to the end. I'm on the 11th fret now. We are going great guns. Hope you're enjoying this video. Please like and subscribe if you are. leave a comment. Good or bad, that's all good. Well, not bad, but constructive maybe. As I said, I may be doing things differently than you do it, or differently than your favourite cigar builder does it. And that's okay too. That's perfectly fine. But it doesn't take a massive amount of time to do this. It just takes experience, and it takes a level head, and for your dog not to come down and bother you. He's brought me 3 toys to throw today. He's got his chewed up football. He's got his chewed up, I don't know what this is, and his pineapple, which he loves. He loves his pineapple. What's he going to bring back? Well, he's not going to bring the bloody pineapple back because I missed it. Here we go. You go with this one. Go get your pineapple. There he goes. Go on to get his pineapple. That's what you don't want to do while you're installing frets, is play with the dog. I've gotten used to it, you see. And if he gets a bit much, I'll just say, piss off, Prince. You want to say hi, Prince? No. Pineapple. Told you to go for his pineapple. Now, another important thing to do when you're fretting is make sure that your fret tang is going straight up and down into the slot. So there's your slot. Make sure it's sitting like that in the slot. Don't worry, I'm not being rude. Right in the slot. If it comes in like that and goes in that way, it's not going to sit properly. Comes in like that, it's not going to sit properly. So make sure it's sitting nice and square in that slot. I'm not flipping you off. That'll probably be the thumbnail for this, I guarantee it. Then I'll get a warning off YouTube saying stop flipping off your subscribers. Maybe that should be the title of this episode. Stop flipping off your subscribers. I've had some really nice comments. I'm not good with the comment section. I'm trying to get a lot better now. I'm getting notifications now on comments, and if I haven't gotten back to you, if you've left a comment, I apologize. My bad. And I'm trying to get a bit better at it. So fretting is not all that scary, but it takes practice. That's a bit small. I won't keep that one. It does take practice. Be prepared to screw up a couple of times, okay? Make sure you've got enough fret wire. Be careful when you're ordering fret wire to make sure that you're getting fret wire that's the same height. If you get and mix up your fret wire on a build and you end up using medium and thick, for example, or heavy or light and medium, you're going to get a lot of fret buzz. So, frets are installed. That is not where we finish. All right, now the first thing I'll do, I'm going to show you. You notice this? See that piece of timber there? That's sitting underneath the neck. So it gives me a firm surface to hammer those frets onto so you don't get that bounce. I don't like hammering when there's flexibility in the neck, because even doing that, I can sense that flexibility. Now the next thing I do it from both angles. I'll eyeball. Now what am I doing here? I'm looking for high frets. Now if you don't have a straight edge, using your eyes is a really fantastic way to do it. You pick your dominant eye. Mine's my left eye, is my dominant eye. And I'll go and I'll double check. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'll check from the other angle as well. I'm very, very happy with that. That's lovely and flat. Now, if I go through and I find any high spots, I'll be able to go through and file those individually as I go through. Also, just look. If you can look, because you can see shadows underneath the fret. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm looking down the fretboard. So I can feel that. I can feel that bounce. All right? I can feel that bounce. So I'm just looking down the fretboard. Feeling, checking it out. That feels good. All right. Next thing you can do, all right, is this. You have got frets now currently over the edge here, which are ridiculously sharp. Okay? Now, you can use sandpaper on a board. You can do that, but you will rip the absolute hell out of your sandpaper. I used to use a normal file without the rubber handle. You can use a file. I'll give you an example. If you go and watch Del Puckett, he uses a spinning disc, and he'll do each one on each disc. Not the way I would do it personally, but just because I don't do it, it doesn't mean that's wrong. It works for him, and it works perfectly well for him. If I'm doing it by hand, just over here at one of my workbench areas, I have these two pieces of kit. I've got an angle block. Both of these cost a fair penny from Crimson Guitars a few years ago. I do like to clamp the guitar neck onto the bench when I'm doing this, so it doesn't move. I don't want it to move. If it does move, I might end up cutting myself, my hands, on these frets, and it's very, very painful. So you can take your time. Super important. Take your time. All right. If you rush it, you'll probably have an accident. Now, all I'm doing, I'm not trying to put on an angle. Okay, so I'm trying to keep it fairly straight. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get the fret tang. I'm not trying to crown it or round it over on the top of the fret. I'm only getting that fret tang, that angle. Let's see if I can actually bring you a little closer to see what I'm doing. I don't have my... All right, so all I'm doing is getting this area. Where are you here? Where's my camera? That area there. All right, that's the area, that real tip of it. So I want to be able to move my finger along the side of the fretboard and feel that. Oh, that got me then. See, I could feel that just jagged on my finger. But I want to feel, I'm not worried about the rounded bit. I'm not worried about the rounded bit, okay? I'm not worried about the rounded bit. All I'm worried about is the tang. I'm just fixing up that tang, okay? You can hear, I'm still hearing the noise. Still hearing it. All right. That's feeling pretty good. Okay. I've got another trick for you. See that? How much easier was that? Right? If you got one of those, use it. Works perfectly fine. Thank you, Highline Guitars, for showing me that about 4 years ago. 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago. He's got a great channel, by the way, Guitar Maker. Now, I've gone back over it with that again. There's nothing there. It's all gone. But I do go over it again with this because it is very accurate, and I can feel it in my hands. See how it's moving? Oh. There you go. There we are. All right. Now, I have a round over as well. I have a couple of roundovers. Okay, I've got one of these. I've got one of these, my stew back. You can use, again, sandpaper. This is 120 grit. That's too thick. I do like to use, if I'm going to do it this way, I do like to use 240 grit or 220 grit. Now, what I'm doing here is just the very top of the... I'm not hitting the tops of the frets. I don't want to do that because I'll put scratches in it, and then you feel it when you play it with the strings. All I'm doing is rounding the top of the fret. So the curve there, the top. All I'm doing is taking off the sharp burr at the top of the fret, and it works perfectly well doing that. You can use these and go over the top. Nothing wrong with doing that either. Personally, I love the sandpaper trick. Everyone's got it. Costs nothing. Worst case scenario is you rip some sandpaper. I can go along the side as well. When you do this, all right, you will notice though, okay, when you come and you run your finger, okay, along the side, it's, the top of it's fine. It's lovely and smooth. But you're going to get jagged. Where you're going to get jagged, all right, is basically, you see this chisel? This very rusty chisel. What you're left with now is a fret that, imagine that's the domed fret going across, all right? And that dome there, that section there, all right, I hope this helps. That section there, where it's crowning over the top. So you go, the rise. I've just smoothed off that section at the top. But what you're left with still are these two very, very sharp edges. Okay? We need to round those edges off. Otherwise, it's going to be like playing with the edges of a chisel exposed over the edge of your neck, and you're going to cut yourself, or worse than that, and especially worse than that in America, you know, in countries where your litigation laws are absolutely horrendous. If you have a client that buys a guitar from you and cuts themselves on a sharp fret, you don't want to leave yourself open to litigation. So let's look after our customers and ourselves, and we're going to round those fret ends off. Okay, now, a couple of things you can use. I bought this on eBay here in Australia. I bought this on eBay 6 years ago. I'm still using it. It's pretty good. It's got a flat side there. It's got an abrasive side there. It's got a curved side on the other side there. And then it's got another abrasive side there. Now, the abrasive side is where I'm going to take off the edge of the fret. That sharp piece, I'm going to round it off. So, just starting in the center, And all I'm doing is rounding it off. And you can feel it. Okay, there you go. Rounding it off. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing here. Where are we here? See there? All right, where are we here? No. Trying to find where I am. There it is. All right. So what I'm doing here, rounding that edge off. Taking that little edge off there. So it's that tiny little cutting part there and there on the edge, on the end of that fret. That's the danger zone. Okay, so I'm just going to go through now and I'm going to round off those frets. I start from this end and I'll work down there. My clamp, I have my neck is clamped again to the bench, so it's not moving around on me. I can feel it, and you can feel it with your fingers. You can feel it cutting into your skin or grabbing your skin on your finger. All right? You need to file away until you can't feel that anymore. When you can't feel that anymore, you know it's a safe fret. Here we go. Just gently. Am I rushing? I'm not rushing. There we go. That's beautiful. There we go. All right, now, what do you do if you don't have access to one of these files? I also have this. This is a triangular file, and I bought this from my local hardware store. And it's, when you buy it, it's not quite ready. It's a fine file. It's what you call, I think it's called a bastard file, because it's got the crisscross type of file on there, the teeth. So what I do is I go up to my sanding station and I file down and take the teeth off on a couple of the sides. And you can see it because it's shiny. There's no teeth on that side. There's teeth on this side. And I do keep it there because sometimes I use this one to do fret slots in the nut. All right, so I can use this as well and works perfectly well. It's a little more aggressive. But it works perfectly well. And those frets just feel beautiful. And I probably use this half the time when I'm doing my fret work. I like it because I can hold it. I've got a nice little purchase there on the triangle. I can feel that. See? Oh, I can change back. Look at that. Smooth. I'm not doing that down here because I'm going to cut my finger if I do that. I'm pressing pretty hard on that neck. Oh, whoa, I can feel that. This is a very restful experience. When you do this, this is your time. This is your thinking time. Make sure the dog's not running around your legs. You don't have kids everywhere. You don't have your partner screaming at you or calling for you to do things. Pick a time when you're able to do this and concentrate. Put some music on. Put some Mike Snowden on to listen to. Put some Stevie Ray Vaughan. Hollowbelly. I'm really enjoying Hollowbelly at the moment. Put some Shane Spiel on. Put some, oh, yeah, this is the one I did earlier. I can feel that. Put some John Nickel on. Go and check out John Nickel. He's on YouTube. Not YouTube. He's on he's on YouTube too, actually. He's got some great videos. John Nickel. Go and check him out on the one of the earlier podcasts as well. Actually, I'd love to catch up with John. Super fella. It was a fun interview, that one too. Look at this. All working, guys. All happening. Just taking those edges off. This might have to be a two-parter. I'm not sure. Depends if my phone will allow the uploads. But that's basically it. Once this is done, I can stain it. I can install it on the guitar. And then more importantly than anything else, don't sell it straight away. Don't sell it straight away. Say it after me. Don't sell it straight away. Take it inside, out of your work shed, especially if you've been building outside where it might have been wet, it might have been raining, it could have been snowing outside, whatever. Take it inside and let it dry out. Okay? And the reason you're letting it dry out is because most of the timbers that we use, if you're using timber from a hardware store, it's probably not completely dry. It's probably not. Okay, that's just the honest truth. So what you want to do is leave it for a few days or to a week inside. Okay, don't sell it immediately. And what's going to happen is the timber's going to dry out. And when the timber dries out, it's going to shrink. Okay, but the frets aren't going to shrink. Frets don't shrink. They stay the same size. What you'll then need to do, and this is super important, what you'll then need to do is redo this fretting process again, because you'll end up with something called fret sprout. Okay, and it does happen. And it happens to Fender guitars. It happens to any guitar where they're not taking part of the fret out. When you're fretting all the way to the end of the neck, just like I've done here, you need to let the neck dry out. It's only a week. It'll only be a week at most. And you can play it, you can feel it, you can enjoy it and everything like that. But what you will notice is if the guitar's living inside, the timber of the neck is going to shrink. All right? And you're going to end up with some exposed frets on the end. And you can feel it. You'll run your finger up the end and you can feel the fret tang. When that happens, you get your file out again, or your sandpaper, and you go back over it and you just take the edge off. You might need to come back over and do some of the corners as well. All right, guaranteed that you will need to do that. And that's why when you look at videos or books, if you read Poor Man's Guitar by Shane Spiel, in the end of the book, Shane states very clearly, when he's doing festivals, he builds his guitars months in advance. And especially his fretted guitars, I would probably guarantee that he would go back through those fretted guitars and he would go back over them with a fine-tooth comb and he would fix up any of that fret sprout. He's a professional. Right? And I know you're a professional too. All right, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I fret my cigar box guitar necks. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's been enlightening. I hope it's been helpful. I can run my hand up and down the side of that neck. Smooth, smooth, smooth. It feels great. I'm not going to do it on this side yet because I haven't actually filed those frets yet. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to do this now. Please click like, subscribe, yada yada. Go to, if you're here in Australia and New Zealand and you're interested in some Cigar Box guitar parts, I have a small selection of parts that I really like on my website. You can go to cbgpartsaustralia.com.au and check out the range there. If there's anything there that's not there that you would like me to get for you or do for you, please let me know. It's been Adam from Birdwood Guitars, and thanks for watching. Go and have some fun building something.